Hello, my name is Harriton Watco. Welcome to our program. Our topic is federalism. Our guest, we have Bobby Brillante, who is now the spokesperson for the government on behalf of the administration to discuss, to explain to us exactly what this means. Bobby, maybe you can help explain now the structure first, from the president up, going down.
Yes, under the federal system that we are proposing sa MRRD and ECC, PNAMPED, is that the head of the government becomes the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister...
hindi presidente yan,
Hindi.
Okay.
The Parliament muna. So, unicameral. The Prime Minister is elected by the members of the Parliament who are also elected in their respective districts.
So representative in effect.
Oh, in effect, representative. So in each district, the people will directly elect their own representative to the Parliament. And then there's representatives to the Parliament who will be called MPs. MPs kasi sila in Europe, member Parliament, would now elect the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister heads the day-to-day governing. So he appoints the Minister of Finance, Minister of Defense, Minister of Foreign Affairs. Yun yung kanyang mga kaagapay sa pamamahala.
Hindi ba parang executive yan? Hindi. Iba pa rin. Executive na yan. Executive department.
That's the beauty of a parliamentary system because it is fused together. You enact the law and then you also implement the projects and enforce what has been legislated. While the president naman is elected directly by the people.
Is he just a representative for other countries, or does he delve for the executive, like the executive powers the president has now? Hindi na kasing lakas siyang presidente.
Hindi na kasing lakas. Yung parang ang gusto kasi ni presidente is yung French type of government where you have a parliamentary system tapos we have a strong president also. Because under our proposed system in the MRRD, NECC, the president, when there are problems in the government, the president has the power to dissolve the parliament.
Yun ang power niya, absolute over them.
Yes, and then the parliament naman, through vote of no confidence, can unseat a prime minister.
But how can a president dissolve the parliament when the parliamentarians, the MPs, are mandated? May boto sila, di ba, ng taong bayan as representative?
Oh, he is the one. Kasi pagka yung magulo, for example, pagka yung wala na sila nagagawa, puro pamumulitika na lang, ginawa na lang nilang debating club yung parliament.
Gaya nangyayari ngayon.
Ano gagawin ng presidente?
Dissolve.
He will call upon the parliament to behave and do their job. Otherwise, with a cause, they can be dissolved by the president, and then they will be forced to conduct another election.
Another election.
Para palitan yung parliament.
So yung judiciary, executive, ang legislative tsaka executive magfufuse yan.
Yes.
So dalawa na lang natin, judiciary and the parliament. That's correct?
Yes.
Ganun pala ang plano.
Kaya lang yung struktura ng gobyerno natin, instead of concentrated in Manila or in Metro Manila, there are political powers in every region that would now become the state.
For example, sa Amerika talaga.
For example, if we have 18 states, so you will have 18 states under one federal.
And then the majority will still win.
Yes.
So depending on the 18, how they will work together to have the unitary direction. Majority wins.
In that case, it is the parliament naman that determines that.
But the parliament, pag may disagreement, if there is disagreement, what will happen?
Magdi-disagree sila dyan, or they would agree or disagree. Siguro on certain issues, like for example...
What will happen, in fact, when there is disagreement, the one issue that can be tackled will stay, for example, with the legislative. And they will keep talking, they will keep arguing, but it does not mean it's a win-all. For example, like nangyayari ngayon, the majority of numbers, like what we have in the current Congress. We have a system wherein they're all, by sheer number, you can now manipulate the direction of government. They, for example, in the last government, the last administration, the Liberal Party were the majority. So by sheer number, kaya nila. We saw this happen with GMA's time as well. Ngayon, they will be more independent. Is that how it's going to work?
The parliament kasi molds the direction of the government. For example, pagdating sa economic planning, di ba? Sila yung magde-deliberate ng budget. Ano yung mga pa-prioritize ng mga projects na pupuntuhan ng gobyerno.
So hindi na kaya gawin ng, for example, if you have, like for example, now you have a speaker who's, well, we have a supermajority with Congressman Alvarez, the Speaker of the House. Actually, he can manipulate, he can redirect, and he can actually, he has almost absolute control with the majority going in his direction. When you have a parliamentary, the 18 states you're saying, or 12 states, whatever is going to happen, will have an independent position from the majority speaker, so to speak, or the prime minister. They're all going to work independently. I'm not sure I understand that. How does that work when it goes down to local government as well? When it goes down, the local government will have to be represented by the national government. Or you're saying that we will restrict that to just parang ordinances and then the national issues will be totally different?
When it comes to legislation kasi, it's the parliament that does that. Yun naman mga local governments, they will do what they have been doing.
Okay.
Okay, na ginagawa ng mayor, ng governor. Kaya lang this time, they are grouped together as a state. So medyo from within may power na sila na hindi na sila kailangan kumuha ng blessing sa Malacanang or kumuha ng approval ng NEDA, di ba?
Ganun nangyayari, ano?
Oo.
Kaya yung progress natin, puro Central Manila lang, imperial.
Oh, like for example, meron kang malaking proyekto na gagawin sa infrastructure project. Kausap ka ng foreign investor who's willing to assist. Pag-aaralan ng napakatagal ng NEDA.
Uupuan.
Tapos na yung term, hindi pa nila nadidesisyonan.
Like railways in Mindanao.
Oh, in the meantime, yung foreign investor mo,
wala na,
willing to assist, nagwo-walk out na dahil ang tagal ng trabaho ng bureaucracy. No? So, gano'n na. Because for example, the state of Bicolandia, ano?
Okay.
Can determine that. O gusto namin ng railroad na tatagos hanggang Samar Leyte. So, kami ang magdi-determine yan, hindi kayo. And we have the funds. And if we do not have the funds, we will seek the assistance of the national government, or we are also empowered to deal with the national, with
or
the international.
Foreign direct investment. Pwede rin sila. Independent.
Independent. Hindi na sila kukuha pa ng approval sa presidente.
How about the power of the purse? One of the strongest issues in government today, why the president has become absolute authority, even though the budget is done by the representatives, releasing of the funds is with the Department of Budget and Management. How will that affect pag federal and parliament na tayo?
Mawawala na yan because, as I said, the local state collects taxes and revenues.
Kanya na yun.
It retains. Siya na yung magre-remit doon sa National Treasury na bibigay naman doon sa DBM for the national project. Hindi na siya begging pa.
Oo, di ba? Ganun ang sistema natin yun, kaya hindi tuloy nangyayari.
Ang pinakamagandang effect dito na dapat ma-appreciate ng mga tao is that more than political autonomy is the fiscal autonomy. Makakagawa ka ng sarili mong financial planning because you have the authority to disburse the funds that you are in possession.
Where are we now in the composition of the whole federal structure? How far are we? Malapit na ba kayo? I mean, to my understanding, by October, ibobotohan na ito sa Congress.
Parang gano'n.
October. And at which point, if I'm not mistaken, it will go into a plebiscite now, which is everybody votes yes or no. I read somewhere that there will be a 25-man committee that will be formed to further study the details para, kumbaga, malagay sa IRR or whatever, the rules and regulations. How far is that na? Malapit na ba kayo makompose?
Actually, there are several recommendations may recommendation, for example, may version ng PDP Laban.
Oh, okay. I read that.
May version ng Kilusang Pagbabago.
So mga political groups din.
May version ng MRRD and ECC. But the most important thing is federal system yung kanilang pare-parehong pinopropose. So nagkakaroon lamang ng pagkakaiba doon sa mga minute details. Like for example, anong gagawin sa judiciary.
Paano nga naman
Merong proposal na kaya napakabagal ng ating dispensation of justice dito dahil ang daming dinadaanan. After a grueling experience in litigating the case in the regional trial courts, pupunta ng Court of Appeals. From the Court of Appeals, pupunta ng Supreme Court.
Saka lahat ng kaso.
So, merong proposal na i-abolish na yung Court of Appeals. Because
interesting.
Because each state would have their own Supreme Court anyway. So, from the regional trial court, papunta doon sa local or state Supreme Court.
Wala na CA, wala na CA.
Wala na.
So, diretso na, the local Supreme Court.
Pwedeng mag-final and executory na yung kaso. Hindi kagaya na nangyayari ngayon, for example.
Will we have a national Supreme Court?
Yes, yun ang
meron pa rin.
Kaya nga may Supreme Court.
Pinaka-court Supreme meron. But then in the states will also have their own little Supreme Court.
Yes.
So wala na CA talaga.
When it comes to, for example, yung mga common crimes, decided na yan dapat ng Supreme Court dun sa state.
Agreed,
But when it comes to interpretation of the law, constitutional issues,
akit yan sa national.
Yan ang national Supreme Court.
So arbitration and mga discussion, disagreements, final and executory na para hindi na tumatagal.
Oo, para hindi nagkakaroon
How
ng
about
backlog.
budgets, for example, of the judiciary? Alam mo naman, the sorry state of the judiciary, the different houses of justice, halls of justice, especially sa probinsya, it's only in Makati that looks great, Quezon City. You go to Manila, the courts are awful. Naawa ko sa mga prosecutor. I mean, the offices are just in total disarray.
Kasi yung mga local executives, hindi nila pinaprioritize yan. Una-una, wala sila masyadong kita dyan. So, mas malaki kasi ang kickback.
So, kailangan ayusin nyo rin yun, for example.
Kalsada, infrastructure, mayors make about 20 to 30% kickbacks from these infrastructure projects.
Buti na lang alam mo yung mga ganyan.
Magpagawa ka ng justice hall, for example, housing the judges, even the prosecutors.
Walang income yan eh.
Masyado.
Hindi, kasi naaawa ako. Tsaka the local judges are always dependent on the mayors, the governors. Nakakaawa eh. Which should be independent.
That is why nagkakaproblema ang taong bayan dyan. Dahil, for example, may kaso ka dyan, tapos kaibigan ng mayor yung kalaban mo. And the mayor has an influence over the judge. Problema talaga yan.
Problema yan. And kaya that's real, ha?
Dapat, Supreme Court yung nagpapatayo ng facilities nila para mawala yung influence ng mga local politicians.
So, the budgets, even the direction, because right now, even in Congress, anong nangyayari, they ask for a budget which is now 22, 24 billion, if I'm not mistaken. And then the Supreme Court themselves are untouchable. You can't even audit them on how they're going to spend it. So sila nagbibigayin sila, mga Supreme Court justices, para pag-retire nila, ang lalaki ng mga take-home, pabaon, so to speak. So, gano'n ang mangyayari. You're going to spread it out now. It will be under the federal structure that the local Supreme Courts will be independent.
Dapat, oo.
Dapat. Alam nyo, mukhang malaki-laki yata trabaho nyo between now and October.
Napakalaki talaga.
Di ba? I mean, between now and October. Tuloy pa rin yung 25-man committee that will do the study, further study.
In fact, right now, I understand the President is already in the process of selecting the 25 study group that will...
the category, the parameters of the selection will be the academe, former, well, like yourself, you are neither political party. Pwede yun.
But importante kasi doon, yung naiintindihan mo kung ano yung hinihiling ng taong bayan na sistema at saka yung mga kapag-deliver ng serbisyo ng diretso. Parang masu-shortcut mo yung bureaucracy.
So we are on target, on time, with all these little details that have to be put together. The structure. We are on time. You're on time.
Yes. So far, kasi nakasalang na sa Congress yung bill. So the moment na yan na-legislate, the President would be ready with the team. Ang gagawin naman itong 25-man Constitutional Commission or committee will submit the draft to Congress para hindi na kung saan-saan pa pumupunta yung Congress. Kasi
I was gonna say
the
that.
moment
say
you
that,
open everything, kakatayin ng mga politiko yan. That is why in the MRRD, NECC, PNAMPED, we are proposing that a constitutional convention be held so that the people will elect the framers of the new constitution.
Pero from what I understand, assembly ang...
Because ang problema kasi natin dito sa CONAS, it would be the same politicians who would be making the amending of the Constitution. And they have been a failure in this
But they have the mandate, sir. Di ba may mandato mga yan eh?
Yeah, pero there are, under the Constitution, there are three kinds of, three ways of, one is Constitutional Convention, Constituent Assembly, and the other one is
People's Initiative.
People's Initiative. So, para ang feeling ng Congress is mas shortcut kung CONAS. Ang feeling naman namin mas madali kung Constitutional Convention. Besides, when the Constitutional Convention is already convened, it rolls on its own.
But with the 25-man board, hindi kaya tama na yan and then go straight into the plebiscite na? Kung
Hindi naman
papayag
siguro,
ang Kongreso.
baka naman kulangin. Kasi,
I see. Baka mahilaw.
Oo, baka mahilaw because you do not expect naman these 25 persons to be that brilliant na babasahin nila ang isip ng masakararami. In the Constitutional Convention, kasi free area yan, so talaga magdi-deliberate kayo. Pero nakafocus lang doon as against the Constituent Assembly na the Congress,
may local issues pa sila
may
budget,
legislation, spending bills, tapos budget deliberations. Ubus ang oras nila dyan. So magiging sideline lamang nila itong pag-amyenda ng batas for the federalism.
When you talk federalism, it is inclusive of parliamentary system. That's one, with the president. As para unitary government pa rin, it's not breaking away, just giving independence.
Yes, yes. It's just that unicameral ka na lang.
Unicameral pa rin.
One Congress.
One Congress.
And
one president voted by the people, my vice president. So nag-iiba lang. Well, kailangan pumasa muna sa Congress para mag-plebiscite, if I'm not mistaken.
There should be a legislation calling for a constitutional amendment.
Bobby, it's great talking to you about this. I feel, however, miski isang oras na tayo, kulang pa rin, Marami pang issues, Kailangan pasukan natin mga madudugong areas. We only have another 2 minutes left. Your message to the viewers.
Yeah, sa mga kababayan po natin, dumating tayo sa pinakamahalagang yugto ng ating political history na meron tayong pagkakataon na baguhin ang landas na tinatahak natin sa pamamagitan ng pag-aamyenda ng ating batas para magkaroon tayo at maisulong ang federalismo. Na lahat ng local governments ay magkakaroon ng sapat na kapangyarihan upang isulong ang programang pangpolitika, pangkabuhayan, at lalo-lalo na sa peace and order na hindi na kailangang maghintay pa ng basbas sa national government na tinatawag nating Imperial Manila. So, kailangan po tayo ay kumilos, magising na, ipamahagi natin ang impormasyon. Nagagawin naman namin, we will be conducting seminars, symposia, public fora, and lahat ng maaari nating magawa para mapalaganap na mabuti ang pinakabuod ng federalismo.
Sana matuto ako managalog gaya ni Bobby. Ang husay managalog, tuloy-tuloy. Malalim na, consistent pa. Yung akin, pumapasok pa ang English. Bobby, thank you very much for joining us today. Ladies and gentlemen, understanding federalism is our priority. The news items that provide all kinds of fantastic tales and what you call news breakers, when really all it does is divert your attention. That is not priority. News sells, I agree. Disaster sells. Sex even sells. But what should sell is our future. That's what we need your attention for. I hope to be part of helping understand this concept, be it or against it, but at least to discuss the issues so you and I will be in the know. Thank you very much. And I hope we see you next week. Maraming salamat, Bobby.
Thank you rin.
You are what you watch.